Hey guys, it's Frank from Cruising with Wheels. It's a new year, baby! And I'd like to think that 2022 will be a little bit better. Let's talk a little about saving ourselves, our neighbors, and hopefully the planet. In this episode of Frank Pushes Back. Let's start with saving ourselves. Live a healthier lifestyle, both physically and emotionally. You want to start that diet? Go ahead and do it, but don't set yourself up for failure. Remember, you didn't gain all the weight overnight, and you're not going to lose it overnight. So remember to establish realistic expectations and goals. And don't be like this girl.
Hey Myrna, hi, it's Tammy. I need your help, girl. That diet I'm on just ain't working. It's been 3 days and I haven't lost the 40 pounds I need by tomorrow. How am I going to get into that size 2 dress for the party? What? Yeah, okay, that too. Okay, Myrna, bye-bye now. That Myrna, she always gives good advice. Now where are those Twinkies?
You really need to have patience. It does take time. And remember, take it one day at a time. One day success can lead to day 2 success and day 3 success. If you look at it as a whole, got to lose all the weight. Oh my goodness, it's going to take all this time. You'll feel frustrated and defeated. Don't be your own worst enemy. Ignore that little guy in your head that's telling you it's not going to work. Take the time you need for your own emotional well-being. You can't help others if you're not taking care of yourself. If you feel overwhelmed, you have a sense that you're drowning, seek a family member, a friend, or a professional. So often, we neglect our emotional well-being. Depression and anxiety can be crippling and devastating, especially around the holidays. So I encourage everyone, if you're feeling that you can't cope, reach out. Now let's talk about looking after our neighbors. Oh, the last 2 years have been a nightmare, with COVID and everything else going around in the country. Honestly, people fighting each other. Goodness. Brother against brother, father against son. Lordy, it's like watching the movie Gone with the Wind. Seriously, we just need to get a hold of ourselves. We need to get a hold of ourselves and give ourselves a good old shake, right? And like Cher said in the movie Moonstruck, snap out of it. And the airlines are seeing dramatic increases in violence aboard their planes. Girl, I am not worried about COVID as I am worried about flying on board a plane with all those crazy people assaulting passengers and crew. We need to take care of each other. Okay? The homeless, the mentally ill, people that are struggling to make ends meet. It is devastating for them. And we just need to reach out and help as best we can. So let's talk about my biggest pet peeve, okay, which is food waste. We throw away so much food in this country that could go to needy families and organizations. And I want to talk a little bit and give you some statistics, okay? Here's a little bit of knowledge, okay? Now, get this. While the world wastes 1.4 billion tons of food each year, the United States throws away more food than any other country in the world. Nearly 40 million tons. Yeah, that's 80 billion pounds of food every year. Now that's 30 to 40% of the entire U.S. food supply and equates to 220 pounds of waste per person. And it goes right into the landfills. It's a sin. It's an absolute waste, and it's an absolute sin. Now, before COVID, it was estimated that 35 million Americans, including 10 million children, suffered from food insecurity. I'm sure you've heard that term in the news lately, food insecurity. That number is expected to increase as much as 50 million people in 2022 due to the unemployment drop and financial fallout from the pandemic. Now, the big question is, why do Americans waste so much food? I don't get it. Here's a little bit of trivia. Food spoilage, whether it's real or perceived, is the biggest factor. It's the biggest reason that people throw out their food. Now, more than 80% of Americans discard perfectly good consumable food simply because they misunderstand expiration labels. Labels like sell by, use by, expires on, best before, or best by. They are confusing terms. And they're confusing people. And in an effort to not risk the potential of a food illness, they toss the food in the garbage. Now let's talk about the good news. The good news that laws are changing, and a lot of states are doing this. Several states across the country are taking action to curb food waste and gain food recovery. Legislators in several states like California, Connecticut, Massachusetts, New York, Rhode Island, and Vermont have passed laws that restrict the amount of food waste going into our landfills. And as a result of the new laws, food donations have increased to organizations. Now, let's talk specifically about San Diego, California. Kudos to San Diego, California. You go. Now, we all know that 35 million people across the country suffered from food insecurity. And of course, it's only getting worse. But a new law in San Diego could set the stage for how the country starts to deal with food waste. Thousands of pounds of food go through a Feeding San Diego facility every day. The law, which will go into effect at the spring of 2022, requires grocery stores and other food suppliers to donate all edible food waste to a food rescue organization or food bank. Now, you've all seen the stories on TV with people dumpster diving and finding all this food that these grocery stores and drugstores all throw away. Now, I know. I worked 5 years for Rite Aid drugstore and 5 years for CVS pharmacy. And I was one of the people, as the manager, to go through and check outdates every week. And all those, expiration dates and sell-by, I'm familiar with. And if it was within a week or two of that date on the package, we had to pull it. And it went into mostly into the trash, or a minimal amount went back to the warehouse. And I don't know what they did with it. But most of it went to the trash. So you see all these people, homeless people, families and kids living in their cars and vans, and they're going to all the dumpsters behind grocery stores and drugstores and mom and pop stores in their neighborhood, and they're finding all the stuff we've been tossing, and there's nothing wrong with it. It is pure waste. And I'm so glad that states have stepped up and are changing the laws, and that all this food, of which there is nothing wrong with it, is being donated to organizations and food banks. God bless you, because these are really becoming some dark times here, and these people really need the help. It is so surely needed. So specifically San Diego, I'm glad to talk about you today. Now let's talk a little about saving the planet. God, it's all we've been talking about. You know, climate change, saving the planet. How many years do we have left? And I know I just talked about food waste, but, you know, there's other things that go into the landfills. And I want to talk a little bit about that specifically because we've just come out of the holiday season. So let's just look at the last, 2 to 3 months, and I'll give you some information. How much extra waste is created during the winter holiday season? Americans throw away 25% more trash during the Thanksgiving to New Year's holiday period than any other time of the year. The extra waste amounts to 25 million tons of garbage, or about 1 million extra tons per week. Now that's a lot of crap. How much Christmas wrapping paper is used each year in the United States? You're not going to believe this. Each year, Americans alone use 4.6 million pounds of wrapping paper to the tune, are you ready? Of the cost of $7 billion. Yeah, Christmas wrapping paper is a $7 billion enterprise. That's $7 billion thrown in the trash. You know it. Christmas morning, rip, 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 rip. Let me see all the toys and all the crap I kind of really don't need, and I'm probably not going to use, or probably going to re-gift to somebody, and all that wrapping paper that was making it all sparkly and pretty. $7 billion out in the garbage. But you might as well just take out your wallet, pull some cash out, and light it on fire, because that's a lot of money for wrapping paper. I mean, think about it. How much paper is actually wasted in terms of not just the cost, but the amount? You might be surprised at how much waste is produced at Christmas each year. Now, last year, we threw away 227,000 miles of wrapping paper. Almost enough to use to take us to the moon. In addition, we waste a staggering 4.2 million Christmas dinners. Yeah, all those Christmas dinners in the trash. So enough paper to get to the moon, and a lot of food that goes from our Christmas table into the trash. It's sad. It's sad, and it's a waste. And that's why I say all of this, what a waste. Continuing with the environment, how many trees are cut down each year for wrapping paper? This will kill you. An estimated 30 million trees are cut down just to produce gift wrap. And it's difficult to recycle due to the dyes that are used in the wrapping paper. Now, many wrapping papers, like the ones made with foil or plastic, can't be recycled at all. Did you know that? I did not know that. Not only does this devastate forests, it also contributes to often overflowing landfills. And again, more damage to the environment. So, I want to end with saying, in the words of those VHS tape covers, be kind, rewind. Let's rewind to better times to come, hopefully. A kinder, more compassionate, more understanding, and a more enlightened society going forward. We gotta work to save ourselves, our neighbors, and the planet. Or what was all of this for? For our kids, for our grandkids, future generations, a legacy. We've really got to work hard on this. So I hope 2022 is going to be better. So on behalf of Kevin and myself from Cruising with Wheels, I want to remind you to not just watch our videos, but to click that subscribe button and become a regular Cruising with Wheels family member. And click that little bell next to it. You'll get automatic notifications when our videos go live. And remember, we're not just on YouTube, we're on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and Snapchat. So remember to always travel safe and cruise often.